We have returned to Avalon, but this time in undead form with King Arthur Legion 9, and I'll explain more about the undead theme here momentarily. This game is an indie, turn-based, character-centric, dark fantasy, tactical RPG set, of course, in the King Arthur Knight's Tale universe. Now, I do want to make it clear, though, that this is not a sequel to King Arthur Knight's Tale, nor is it an expansion. What Neocore Games are labeling this game as is a standalone spin-off with new characters and an entirely new story. This game is releasing on May 9th for PC, and I will have a Steam link down below for the modest price tag of $19.99. And also do note that current gen PS5 and Xbox are in the works but coming at a later date. This video is sponsored by Neocore Games, the devs behind Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr, The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing trilogy, and of course King Arthur Knight's Tale, which I played quite a bit of. Let's jump right into an overview of this game's features, starting with the story, and then we'll end with a little bit of gameplay. So yeah, back to the undead thing. The game's setting is in Arthurian myth and the legend of King Arthur, but it has an undead Roman-themed twist, which is pretty cool. You play as a character named Gaius Julius Mento.
My name is Gaius Julius Mento,
A tribune of the undead 9th Legion who was sent to the underworld to recruit an army of fallen veterans. And that he did. And now Gaius and his army have found their way out of Tartarus, which is the infernal region of Greek mythology, but they find themselves in between the realm of the living and the dead, and this is a magical place called Avalon. I'll leave it at that for spoiler reasons, but basically you and your undead buds are trying to figure out what the heck this place is. Obviously this game is filled with all sorts of fantasy elements, but with the Roman theme it's actually pretty cool because you'll hear mentions of some Roman historical figures such as Gaius Julius Caesar, and even places such as Eboracum, which was a fort and later a city in the Roman province of Britannia. Although your main character is Gaius Julius Mento, you will have control over a party of 6 unique characters which you will recruit in the earlier missions of the game. Each of these characters has a distinctive personality, and their loyalty is constantly changing through decisions made by you, player. There's definitely some similarities here to Neocore's King Arthur Knight's Tale, and those of you who played that game will catch on to this one very quickly. Jumping into my game, you can see right here that I currently have 6 different characters right here, all of which are very different from one another, and they're also all different builds, and we'll talk about combat and builds a little bit later on in the video. But this character right here is Plutonius Nerva, who is a priest of Orcus, the god of the underworld, and he is a very stubborn and hostile character, which of course is very different from some of my other characters such as Octavius Remus right here, who is the silent loyal type, who is currently my party's tank. As you can see, when I go into an actual mission, I have control over all these party members. You have different formations that you can put them in. And also do note, you can actually move with WASD. I know a lot of people do request that in games, or you can point and click like your classic CRPG out there. And speaking of missions and quests, the general gist of this game is that once you discover the city of Nova Roma, then this becomes your home base, which you do build up over time. From Nova Roma, you'll set out on different missions. As you can see, there's a few higher level missions available on my map. And after you complete those missions, you come back to Nova Roma, you use your gold and your building resources to improve the city, and of course your map also expands. Similar gameplay loop to King Arthur Knight's Tale, and actually since I brought that up, if you are a veteran of King Arthur Knight's Tale, this game, Legion 9, does offer several different difficulties to choose from story all the way up to brutal if you're an expert on the mechanics and you really want an insane challenge, or you can maybe do very hard. I'm sure that's probably challenging enough. And also this game has a roguelite mode where your progress is automatically saved, there's no manual saving, and every decision and mistake is permanent. Moving on to the ever so important topic of combat and character progression, which in my opinion are both highlights of this game, and then we'll talk a bit about the morality system, which is really awesome, and building management. The combat works similarly to turn-based tactical games such as XCOM, but heroes level up and there's a deep character progression system with unique skills, hundreds of unique items, world skills, and also ultimate skills. Each mission is filled with several combat encounters that you'll stumble into or walk into, and the game has plenty of factions to fight, such as the Picts, the Seelie and Unseelie, or the Fomorians, and each of these factions has dozens of unique enemies, with each act of the game ending in a unique boss fight. Now, jumping back into the game, as you can see, I did initiate a combat encounter here, and my party gets to go first, and you can choose whatever order that you want your party members to go in. Let's go ahead and start off with Gaius Julius Mento, our main character here. If I wanted to move over to this opponent right here, this swordsman, it would cost me 6 action points, which are represented in the bottom center of the screen right here. The yellow ones can only be used for movement, and the green ones can be used for movement and also attacks. Now, instead of spending all my action points just to get over to this character, and you'll notice that you can zoom in a little bit here, which is a really cool perspective when you want to watch some of the action play out. You guys will notice that I have an attack called a jumping attack, which does 150% weapon damage, only costs 4 action points, and it allows me to jump between 2 to 5 tiles. But before I do that, I am going to buff myself quickly for a 25% damage boost, and then we're going to jump attack over to this character. And that attack actually does some pretty good damage, but you will notice that you do have to get through opponents' armor in this game, of which there is magic and also physical armor on your opponents and your own characters. Now I'll take a quick turn with my more magic focused character, Albina, right here. And we're going to go ahead and do Fire Strikes, which is a ranged attack. And I can target up to 3 opponents here and call forth some beams of fire, which do cause the burning status effect on opponents, which they'll take damage over time. Now, you'll also notice that you can reserve some of your action points for the following round if you don't want to spend all of them. And there's an Overwatch button right here. So if I switch over to, let's switch to Octavius. If I were to use my Overwatch ability here, you'll notice that I can choose the area where if an opponent walks into this area, Octavius will then take an attack. Now, for character progression, as you can see, all of my party members have now leveled up. Depending on your character's class, even though they're not technically classes in this game, Octavius is a Praetorian, which is a Roman rank. Albina is a Flamina, and then Gavius right here is a Centurion. Depending on their class will determine what skills that you are able to pick up and also what skills you're able to upgrade. So for example, if we go to Albina right here, I have 2 skill points to spend right now, and I can spend all 2 on picking up an entirely new skill such as Flame Shield or Purge, or I can spend 1 point to upgrade one of my current skills that I have active. So if I wanted to upgrade Firebirds, if I click on Molten Gob right here, I can put 1 skill point into this, and the Firebirds attacks will now deal 25% more weapon damage. There's also plenty of passive benefits that you can buy here and ultimate skills that unlock when you reach level 10. And while I have you on the screen, take notice of the loyalty bar right here, which is different for each of my party members. And this is actually dependent on the decisions that I make in this game. Your party members will react accordingly with the loyalty bar. So a character that's not very loyal, such as Plutonius right now, currently I'm getting a minus 10% damage during battles with this character, but if we go to Octavius, I'm at a plus 10% damage. So your decisions in this game do matter. And this brings us into the ever so important morality system in this game. So your in-game choices not only affect party member loyalty, but they also have an impact on your morality, which is represented on the morality chart. This is important not only for story reasons, including affecting the game's ending, but it also affects what opponents you'll face, and with the morality chart, you can unlock various heroes and upgrades depending on where you stand on it. Your morality is binary and can be humanity or demonic. It's a cool system that adds a lot of weight to your decisions, something that a lot of you, I know, and also myself, value in many games. And there's some really evil decisions to be made and also some that are much more righteous in nature. Now let me briefly touch upon items in this game. You have an armor slot, you have a weapon slot, you have potion slots, and do note you have to equip potions before you go out on a mission, otherwise you won't be able to have them, and you have some unique item slots right here. Now if we head to Nova Roma, we'll talk a little bit about the management system in this game. And this is kind of the city that you're going to be building up and also upgrading. So if I click on the blacksmith, for example, not only can I upgrade weapons and also armor here for the cost of building resources, I can also upgrade the blacksmith station itself, which gives me all sorts of different passive benefits. So if I upgrade this slot right here for 500 gold and 500 building resources, all light armor that my party members are wearing get a +1 to their armor rating, or I can do it for heavy armor, I can do it for ranged weapons or melee weapons. Now if we go back out and we click on the enchanted tower, for example, similarly to the blacksmith, I can upgrade the enchanted tower, which gives you all sorts of different passive benefits, such as benefits to AP in combat encounters or benefits to your potions, but I can also grab items, or more specifically grab relic items, sacrifice them to get relic dust, and then buy these unique items right here. And then if I click on let's click on the training ground, for example, all these upgrades are of course combat focused. And you'll also notice that you do have to assign, we don't have to, but you should assign certain party members to different stations and buildings here. If I were to assign my party member Drusus to the training ground, this hero now gets a +1 damage every 5 levels. So you want to make sure that you're managing your resources well, you're getting building resources out on your missions, and you're also upgrading your buildings and of course taking advantage of their services. So hopefully now you guys have a good idea as to what this game is all about. I've been having a great time playing. Combat is personally my favorite aspect of this game. Some very challenging combat encounters. I'm playing on very hard right now, really making me think and try to change my tactics and pay attention to my skills, and I've been really enjoying that. And also the morality system and knowing that my decisions matter has had me pretty engaged with the story here. And yeah, Undead Roman Legion is a really cool idea. I'll have a link down below if you guys want to pick up this game. Love to support indie games. I'm gonna leave you guys with a few minutes of just pure gameplay so you can hear and feel the game out without me yapping away. And I'll catch you all in the next one.
They're coming.
Good. Hold them up while I warn the others.
We've come here to conquer. And now we're hunting for a simple merchant.
The only merchant who is willing to help us rebuild Nova Roma.
The mighty demons from hell have listened to our call. Welcome, welcome. Not so fast. Do you have the ransom? Don't worry, he is alive. We are holding him in our camp. I'll show you the way. Follow us.
First, we save the merchant. Then we can deal with the Avalonians. They want to negotiate. What do they take us for? They must learn how we deal with such arrogance.
We served our pay.
Watch out. They want to kill you.
What are you doing? Kill the Tribunus, traitor.
Soldiers of the 9th Legion. Finally, you are here.
What are you talking about, Tribunus? We deserted the 9th Legion a long time ago.
What?
You still don't understand. We will never return to your miserable ranks.
Trust me, Tribunus. I will fight on your side.
They got me.
Just look the other way.
The pain.
We are the soldiers of the 9th Legion. Put down your weapons. Now!
We will not surrender to you, Tribunus.
Septimus Sulla would never tolerate this. You must all die.
Perish. Attack!
Learn your place.
For eternal Rome.
Die!
We are not friends anymore.
I mark you for death.
Wait. warned you before. I even fought on your side. I am not your enemy. I am a Sicarius of the 9th Legion. My order was to ambush you and finish you off in the heat of the battle. But no legionary should ever raise a hand to a tribunus. They are not the 9th Legion anymore. They're the maniple of Titus Marcellus, and they found this land years before you. Of course you are. The outlaws worked for Titus Marcellus. It was all a ruse to lure you here. I'll lead you to the merchant.
I want to know more about Titus Marcellus.
Titus is the most despicable of all of them. He turned to dark rituals to become a real demon. The man he used to be is lost forever.
And I'll leave it at that for this video, as I don't want to spoil anything. This was a combat encounter earlier on in the game. As you could tell, I didn't have that many skills, but the combat is still quite tactical. So yeah, make sure to click the link below down in the video description and pinned comment to check this game out. I've been having a good time, and for the modest price tag of $19.99, this one's got my thumbs up. I'll catch you all on the next one.